Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. I'm just going to get this mic in my hand. So, I've tried a different lens with my camera, well, on my phone anyway, so hopefully it doesn't look too weird. But if it does, I won't be recording it again. Anyway, this is called Can You Chase Two Things at Once? So, I'm now just over 10 weeks out from the PCA First Timers Classic Bodybuilding, and on Sunday, I stupidly ran a half marathon. The time I didn't think it was stupid. I'd signed up for it last year. I thought, yeah, 10 and a bit weeks out, be fine. Yeah, probably wasn't my best idea. I really had a bit of a feeling that I shouldn't do it, and I should have listened to it. But I had a couple of pals doing it, and I just kind of thought, yeah, it'd be all right. And for the first 3 miles, it was the best I've ever ran, best I've ever felt. Heart and lungs, amazing. Legs, great. And then I had a energy gel, so a couple of carb gel, basically, which was agreed with Carl in advance, a couple of carb gels, just to see us through. A little bit of energy, and yeah, just went downhill from there. Certainly by mile 5, I was absolutely ready to pack it in. Wasn't fitness, it wasn't heart and lungs, it was just the fatigue in the legs, you know. Being used to doing the cardio. I mean, it's now up to 50 minutes 5 days a week. I think I mentioned that on Instagram, but I mentioned it here now as well. So 50 minutes 5 days a week, which is still manageable. And then, of course, weights 5 days a week. And then, yeah, 12,000 steps a day we're now at. So that's where it is. But yeah, it wasn't a great thing to do. I did get away with it. There's no injuries. There's a few little bits of aches just in the legs and stuff, but very manageable compared to when I first ever did a half marathon about 3 years ago now. It'll be 3 years in May. Yeah, night and day in terms of how I felt fitness-wise, so on. So very good, and obviously recovery, I was straight back into things the next day, hit my steps, got a little bit of cardio done and that kind of thing. So yeah, I was straight back in, and then today's been a full session, been a push session, chest, shoulders and tries, and then cardio splitting up today. I've got a spin class to teach this afternoon, so I've got that, and I've got spin class, and yeah, that'll be it. I've just got a few steps left to hit, so very, very manageable, very achievable. Okay, so that's kind of that. But yeah, it was very fatiguing, very taxing. And to answer the question of the video, no, you can't. You can't be an endurance athlete and be a bodybuilder. That is something that just not possible. I mean, you can do it, but it's going to interfere with recovery. It's going to interfere with, a little bit of water retention, stress on the body, very much a shock to the system. And yeah, you shouldn't be doing both. So kind of learned that the hard way. I hope someone takes something from this. I have seen people do endurance events and preps before and done very well. But they, as I say, doing a lot better than me. And maybe they've done like a carb load and things like that. I didn't. I didn't carb load the night before, even the day before. I mean, typically endurance athletes, I would always invite, athletes, even then, just anyone doing a half marathon, I'd be a carb loading a couple of days out. It's really saturating the muscles with the glycogen, the carbs, holding lots of water in the muscle. And from there, you're going to deliver a good performance. And yeah, as I say, after about 4 miles, so about the 40-minute mark, which is typically where I'm fatiguing anyway in the cardio at the moment, towards the last 10 minutes of them 50 minutes, which is normal. That's just kind of what hit me. And then, of course, you've kept running. And, yeah, it was bad. And as I say, Thomas, my pal who helped me on the day, in terms of transport, I'm glad he did, because I nodded off in his car on the way back. So thanks for that, Thomas, for all your help, mate. I'd have been lost without you. And as I say, that was very helpful. You've got to have a team with you for whatever you do as well. I think half marathons and certainly bodybuilding, I've been very lucky with the people I've got around me. And good friends, as I mentioned, like Thomas, which is very, very good. And see one of my performer clients, Lewis, as well, doing very, very well. He's got the Kielder Marathon in October. So best of luck to him, and he's getting married to Alex in June. And I do have the date written down, and I've been invited, which is fantastic. So very much looking forward to that. But yeah, just like I say, it wasn't a good idea. I got away with one, you know, in terms of recovery. I was very lucky that the rest of the day I was able to just sleep. I was starting Thomas's car. I had a little bit of shopping to grab, and then it was just bed, and I was in bed from, I think it was about 4 o'clock onwards, and I got about 12 hours. Of course, I was up a couple of times, just you know, toss and turn as you do, certainly in prep as well when you've gone through something like that. But it got done, and I'm grateful for that. So anyway, that is kind of that. It's a short video. Again, I am wanting to, I've been saying this the last few weeks, I am wanting to get some more training footage, bit of pause and stuff, things like that. But just to be completely honest, and you know, I've sometimes don't feel too great about myself. You know, I still see myself as that fat lad a lot of the time, and you know, the highest standards that I want. Sometimes you know, you're pushing yourself and thinking, oh, I want stage, I want this, want that, and you're comparing yourself to the end product, whereas in reality, I've still got over 70 days to go. You know, I've got 68 days to peak week or something like that. So, you know, there's still a lot of time, a lot of variables to play with. You know, steps could still go up, cardio could still go up. You know, refeeds might go in there. Diet might change, supplementation, of course, and bodybuilding can change. So, yeah, it's just, I'm very just locked in with it. You know, I'm just doing the same thing day in, day out, you know, and that's just the reality of bodybuilding. Yes, I do get hungry. Yes, I get tired. Am I getting irritable? I don't think I am. I'm very lucky that I'm around good people. You know, Bill, who trains with us on a morning, he brings great energy and he's a good help. You know, you could never be irritable around someone like that, you know, for me. Just fantastic people. In terms of clients as well, again, very good people, you know, people that I still do a little bit of PT with, in-person sessions, that kind of thing. Again, brilliant. You know, I couldn't really ask for anything else. And in terms of support, you know, from friends and family, it's been above and beyond what I ever thought possible. So yeah, it's just that thing of just keeping going with it and trying not to do too much and not be thinking about pulling too many levers at once. And Kyle's kept us right. Kyle Bacon, who I've mentioned before, fantastic guy. He's really kept my head on with this, because I think by now, had I been left to my own devices, and you know, I really think I'd have probably made a couple of mistakes along the way, at least by now, you know, pulling food, adding cardio, doing this. And, you know, I can't imagine what I would have been doing if I'd still been trying to do it on my own. So big mention to him, of course. So yeah, that is kind of that for the video, guys. Nothing too much more to add. You know, I'm hoping, like I say, I think the best place to keep up to date is Ashton Online Coaching on Instagram. I tend to be quite active on there, on the stories day to day, posting different things. And I think on here eventually I will do a little bit of a supplement breakdown of like what I'm taking, why I'm taking it, things like that, which I think could be of use. I am using a lot of engineered muscle products at the moment, the cardiac and hepatic. I'm just taking half a serving. That's more just to keep all the lipids, you know, the blood panel, everything like that, just ticking over, because prep's demanding in terms of energy, expenditure, things like that. Of course, when you're running different compounds and things like that, it can be a little bit taxing on the body as well, but not sort of going too much into that as it stands. And but any questions, you know, do just sort of reach out on Instagram and I'll discuss things a little bit more there. But yeah, that is kind of that, really. That is the life. So I believe I have dropped a couple of pictures on here as well, just in terms of like the half and the check-in at the 11-week mark, which I think is quite positive. Again, waist coming in. It's just nailing the pose and practice. I've actually keep checking my watch, because I do actually have a posing lesson in 8 minutes time with Emma Quinn, who's been brilliant, at Pose with Emma 1 on Instagram. She's been brilliant with us from day one, really helpful, keeping us right. And I do feel way more confident in posing because of her. In fact, I say way more confident. You know, I've gone from zero confidence, really, when we look back at the first sort of times that I was doing these poses. And even just, it sounds daft, but the boys will kind of know what I'm talking about. This compete before, and the girls obviously will know this. But even like just hitting like a front relaxed where you're trying to engage your lats, I was just like, I've got no back. Like I don't know what. But as soon as you get taught how to bring, your arms round and chest up and keep yourself upright and that kind of thing, the illusion is then created, I guess, from what you've got. So it's posing as an art form, and I'm going to openly say, and I think I've said this before, like I didn't realise how much it took. I really didn't. I was very, very close-minded on it, in terms of what posing takes, the things you go through, like the skill of actually learning it. It's crazy. It really is. So yeah, massive mention Emma, again, Kyle keeping us right, all my friends keeping us right, and that's pretty much it really. I think that's all I've got to say, but yeah, don't do half marathons in prep. In terms of the ultra, so of course that's going to land hopefully after I qualify for the Universe. I'm wanting to win the first times I want to qualify for the Universe and see what happens. But in terms, excuse me, in terms of that, the ultra again, I'll be getting some time after the show to have some food, to, in a good way, put a little bit of body fat on, because you don't want to be super lean for doing these things. So it'd be nice to have a little bit of body fat on, just so the body's got something to kind of pull from on the day. You're not kind of, I think I ran this probably around, 9-11% maybe. When I've done my scans, when I've been on the fancy scales, some said 9, one said 11. My watch even now reckons like 9. So that's pretty good, because this reckoned I was about 20% 6 weeks ago. So yeah. I'll take that as a compliment from the watch. But yeah, that is pretty much that, to be fair, guys. I know I've said that about 4 times now. But yeah, going to wrap this one there. As always, thank you ever so much for watching, for tuning in, for liking, subscribing, sharing. God bless you, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.